Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of the viewers from around the world. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of correlation and regression, we will be looking at the price action data so far, which has guided the European trading session, and along with that, we will also be considering the trajectory of the development so far to help us figure out the opportunities going into the US trading session, the North American trading session. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the chart for the Euro USD, and it seems now, seems at the moment that there is some spurt in the Euro USD of almost 20 pips after this release of data just a minute back. And if we look at the price trajectory prior to the release, it is somewhat bullish after making this day's low at 1.2963. We have seen turnaround of sort for the Euro USD, and if the level holds, I think in coming hours we can even expect this prior high to be broken and new fresh swing high might be formed going ahead. And if we look at the larger picture for the Euro USD so far, it has traded with bullish bias, but mostly it has remained range bound with consolidation phase ongoing. After the prior gains, it seems to be stabilizing. If we look at it on the larger time frame of 1 hourly candlestick with this average price being considered for last 24 and 12 hours, we get a better idea of how things are shaping up. So here we had this rally, strong rally in yesterday's session. After that, you can call this correction, and after this correction and consolidation, the thing seems to be again on the rise for the Euro USD with the possibility of a fresh swing high in sight. Now, if we have to consider the strength of this bullish momentum in respect of other currency crosses, then we will have to start doing the comparison of who is making the fresh swing high or who is making the fresh swing low. So, depending on that data, we will be in better position to judge for ourselves the strongest of the bullish momentum or the weakest of the bullish momentum. So let us now start comparing. For the Euro USD, as I said, the things look consolidation with the bias firmly on the bullish side. Now let us see the development for GBP USD. The GBP USD has been bullish and it has been one of the strongest performer against the dollar. It has continued to gain ground against the dollar. And if we go back in time to the start of the European trading session, we had the GBP USD consolidating closer to 1.1875, and from those levels it has gained almost 100 pips with these continuous formation of higher highs and higher lows. So if we compare it to the Euro USD, of course, this is seemingly the best bet for the continuation of this bullish trajectory. If we expect the dollar to remain on the back foot, in that case, the GBP is better suited for a long trade compared to the Euro USD. But of course, looking at its current price formation, it will be quite a risk to go for the trade straight away. So you will have to wait for some consolidation, some correction, and maybe after that, if we see a fresh spurt in the price action data, we will have a new opportunity for us. But regardless of that, the trajectory is firmly on the bullish side, and it is looking much stronger compared to the Euro USD with no swing low being formed on the 4 hourly time frame after this low at 1.1872 formed at 650 GMT. Now, if we compare it to the AUD USD, the AUD USD corrected deeper after this high. It went into a correction of almost 40 pips, and from there on, it is also looking firmly on the upper side with these gains coming in quite quick time of around 20 pips after the release of US data. So the price part in all of these currency crosses is on the upper side. There is no doubt about it. So only question is in relative terms, who is the best suited for the next bullish trade if we expect this trajectory to hold. And in that scenario, I think we will have to keep our expectations bit low. I'm not really expecting any big move from these levels. Rather, we can expect scalping kind of opportunities where we can try to exploit the range, and for that, we have to keep looking for the opportunities these uh, with these currency crosses, and for trying out these formations, you will have to get a good sense of these relative phenomena of making the higher highs and the higher lows if we are on the bullish side of the trade. So here this made Euro USD made this high at 1435 GMT, and if we compare it to the AUD USD, AUD USD made this 4 hourly high just now at 1530 GMT. So of course we can say that AUD USD is lagging in bullish momentum compared to the Euro USD, and the GBP is in the lead with this continuous formation of the 4 hourly highs. So we have now three currency crosses done being compared, and in relative terms, the AUD USD is in the weakest of the bullish momentum, whereas for the GBP USD it is the strongest. Now comparing the NZD-USD, the NZD-USD's picture is somewhat similar to the AUD-USD. There is not really much difference for the NZD-USD, but if we compare its prior price formation, it had a spurt earlier in the day also. So on that term, it would be a better choice compared to AUD, but on the timeline, it is moving almost similar to the AUD-USD. Now we will have to invert the scales to compare the price action of USD CAD, USD CHF, and USD JPY. Here the CAD seems to be on the weaker side with the USD gaining ground against the dollar, and that means if we are waiting on the continuation of the weakness or the bearish momentum in the USD, then this is not really the currency cross where you can expect to profit much. Rather, if you go for the strengthening of the CAD from the current levels, you might actually end up on losing side. So if you are betting on the weakening of the dollar, in that case, the GBP still remains the best bet. But now we have got a situation where we can also bet on the turnaround if we get the confirmation of the beginning of the strength by US dollar, and if we see these gains being sustained and in consolidation, if the US dollar doesn't really break below the prior swing low, in that kind of situation we can expect a turnaround, and USD CAD should be given the first preference as and when things stabilize, and we feel confident enough to bet against the bet with the US dollar. So if we expect the US dollar to get stronger and stronger, in that scenario, the USD CAD will have to be the first choice. For USD CHF, the things are almost similar to the European and the Asia Pacific currencies. Here, the CHF has gained ground at the expense of the dollar. So we have this sharp move of 50 pips from the day's high to the day's low. And right now, this formation is pointing to the continuation of this bearish trajectory for the USD CHF. That means USD is on the losing side, and here if we were to compare it to the other currency crosses, we will be able to judge it for its strength of the momentum, and in that respect I think USD CHF is leading. It is just behind the GBP USD in terms of its strength against the dollar. So CHF looks quite strong, and it should be the second choice if you are expecting the continuation of the bearishness in the US dollar. Now, USD JPY. The USD JPY is also following the same trajectory, but it is lagging behind the USD CHF and the USD JPY. For USD Euro USD, the price action is on the similar footing. So here we have There is a decline at 14:35 GMT with continuation after the release of the US data with a decline of almost 30 pips observed in this span of 5 minutes. So looking at this, I think USD JPY is also a trade which we can go for short selling, but the gains are likely to be muted. I feel that the current phase is of consolidation with the bias on the bearish side for the US dollar. So most of these other currencies are trying to gain ground, but more or less we have to be content with the smaller range in today's session. We are not really seeing any volatile big moves. Rather than that, if we see some correction and USD JPY, if it gets back on the higher side, pardon me, closer to this immediate swing high or somewhat below that. And after due consolidation, we can even try to initiate the new short sale trades. So USD JPY is also not a picture where there is much clarity. Rather, as I said, we will do well to adopt a scalping approach where we can be profitable even if we don't really get any big move in any of these currencies. So here the outlier is only USD CAD, where we are seeing the weakening of the CAD, which is resulting in the USD gaining ground. But for other currency crosses, it is the dollar which is on the back foot. Now let us see the developments for US equity futures. The US equity futures are also going into the consolidation phase after yesterday's strong gains. We are experiencing some correction from higher side, but the correction is quite shallow as of now. It has corrected only 100 points from the day's high, and if we look at the price action prior to that, it is mostly sideways, and some momentum is coming up now. But I am not really expecting any big decline in US futures, at least in today's session. If it holds on the lower side and consolidates at least for a couple of hours, closer to the 34,000 level. In that scenario, I feel we will still have the chance of Dow Jones Industrial Average futures recovering in the latter half of today's North American trading session. So it will be an interesting thing to watch out for. It is not really a place where you can expect to profit much by short selling it, but if you allow it some more time and see how the consolidation plays out in that scenario, there are opportunities which might come our way. So here, the consolidation phase is now giving us a deeper correction compared to the prior corrections, with this decline and a fresh low being formed at 1550 GMT. So if we compare it to the other equity indices, it is somewhat similar with decline and fresh low at 1520 GMT for the S&P futures, S&P 500, and for Dow Jones Industrial Futures it is 1515 GMT. So there is a lead of 5 minutes for the Dow Jones Industrial Average in this decline. For the Nasdaq is lagging behind, and if we look at its prior price formation, it was somewhat on the bullish side earlier in the day. So we have the case where the current sentiments are in hour of consolidation, but we have the difference in the momentum. If we consider the current tone to be slightly bearish or bearishly inclined, in that case the Dow Jones Industrial Average is on the stronger side, and Nasdaq is of the weakest of the three. So whenever the turnaround will happen, whenever we have some correction and consolidation in place, and we feel that now is the time for the resumption of the upward momentum in these equity futures, equity indices, then I think it would be a good idea to prefer Nasdaq for taking a new trade on the upper side. And if in the latter half of the day, if we don't really see any signs of revival, then I think Dow Jones Industrial Average should be preferred for any short sale trading opportunities. Now we compare the European equity futures. So for that, we will have to consider the the DAX index data, and the DAX corrected quite sharply earlier in the day with a decline of closer to 1 percentage point. After that, it also adopted consolidatory movement with range being fairly narrow. But as the time is progressing and after the release of US data, we are seeing fresh momentum picking up for the DX on the lower side. So now the day's lowest price point has been reached, and it will be interesting for the ongoing upcoming US session for us to decide whether to wait for the further downfall or whether to wait it out and expect some sort of revival later in the day. So far, the things look bearish enough for the DAX, and if we compare its price action on the hourly time frame, here it is getting closer to this prior swing high. So for any fresh break for the DAX, we will have to wait for the DAX to decline further on the lower side, even below this immediate swing low. And once we have the confirmation in place, we will have to actually wait for some correction on the higher side. And after correction and consolidation, we will be in better position to short sell it. But as of now, the things are moving in a manner which is making this picture bit confusing, as we have the support area also in place. So first thing we can do is allow these DX to spend some more time on these levels, and if we don't really see it breaking on the lower side even below this prior swing low, in that case, in a course of time, I think we will have the opportunities to go long and expect a move further towards the day's high. So that possibility is still intact, and unless there is any significant downward spiraling move, I think we will be in position to go long later in the day. But as I said, the Nasdaq is going to be the best bet for any long trade. But if we expect these equity indices to continue to trade lower, in that scenario, the more weight should be given to this DAX. I think it will be a better choice if we short the DAX instead of going for the trade in US equity future. If we turn our gaze on shorting the equity indices rather than going long, let us consider the price action for FTSE 100. The FTSE 100 is also telling us a similar story. Here, there were substantial gains earlier in the day of half a percentage point, but those gains evaporated fast enough, and now we have the situation where the fresh day's low has been formed. I can't really say day's low, but it is almost close to the day's low. So that is something to be kept in mind. And if we don't really see the FTSE 100 holding closer to the current level, then in that scenario we will have to change our outlook in a course of time. But as of now, things are closer to the support zone, so it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting for us to observe these price action playing out for the FTSE 100, and if after due consolidation we see any kind of spot on the higher side, then after that we can start looking for the opportunities to buy as well. So let us consider this price action as something to be kept in mind, and we can have further confirmations in place by the time US session begins and we have a lot more volatility compared to what we are seeing right now. For commodity space, if we consider the price action of the light crude oil, there is this substantial decline, and the trajectory is firmly on the bearish side. So you should avoid any kind of buying trades as of now. And but it is going to be a difficult choice, as well as very difficult to exactly pinpoint from where you can go for the initiation of the new short sell trade. So that simply means we will have to wait it out and allow things to stabilize first, and only after that we can expect some sort of reversal or some correction from these lower lows. But for that, first thing we need is the holding of the ground by these crude oil futures, and after due consolidation only we will be in position to make the fresh assessment for the initiation of a new trade, whether on the long side or on the short side. The trajectory is almost similar to the Brent for the light crude as well, and here also the same assessment will apply. We will have to wait it out, and there is no immediate trade here which is available. So we are almost done with the forex, currency, the commodity, and the equity space. So let us now take a look on the bullions. The gold is following a very range bound movement trajectory. We saw this sharp move of around 10 US dollar per ounce, and this prior losses seems to be now giving way to further gains. But right now it is caught in between these immediate range of around 10 to 11 points, and a break on either side is going to give the fillip to the movement in that direction. And if we look at its prior price action data, the prior day's high was at 1732.85 US dollar per ounce, and then it went on to make this fresh day low. So if we have to expect this trajectory of the gold to get the gold further down below even the day's high, then in that scenario we will have to wait for these gold's price action data to help us get more data points to work with, and that means we will have to allow it to consolidate after this sharp moves. And if it doesn't really break on the higher side, and if it continues to trade below the day's high at 1745 per USD per ounce, in that scenario we will be in a position to take the new short sale trade with the possibility of a decline even below this immediate swing low of 1728 USD per ounce. So that's my take looking at the current price formation of the gold, and as I have tried to make you familiar with the relative strength and weaknesses of other currencies and equity indices as well. I hope you would be able to take these data points into consideration whenever you want to take a particular trade in any of the instrument of your choice. So that's all from my side for today's session. For further developments in the market, for coverage of the further developments in the market, you can check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We're also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too for trying out the newly released trading platform. The link has been included in the bio. So give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. That's all. See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Goodbye.